Hello and welcome to another episode of Loud and Opinionated. I'm one of your hosts, Jake Williams, and the other guy on the camera, Derek Watson.
Woo! Happy 4th.
Happy 4th. Hope you're having a great time. I'm really hoping you're listening to this on your way to a nice barbecue because we're giving you all the things you need to know in today's episode. And even all the stereotypes. So you see that character, you know that they're there, kick them out. You know, if they're being too drunk, I guess. But that's all you need to know right there. And before we get to the main topic, we have to do what we've always been doing since the last episode, and that is the Watson Report.
I'm Derek Watson, and this is the Watson Report. Starting off with government politics, Supreme Court Justice Anthony Kennedy is retiring. He's been on the Supreme Court since 1987, appointed by Reagan. He's mostly been considered conservative, upheld decisions on gay rights and the freedom of sexual orientation, however, so he has been seen as kind of a flip vote every now and then. The controversy right now is that people on the left are saying Trump shouldn't be allowed to nominate because of the midterm elections coming up. They quote back to when Obama was denied a nomination back in 2016 because of the presidential election. I just want to clear something up on that. It's always been precedent that you don't do nominations on years of presidential elections, but years of midterm elections happen all the time, so this whole controversy seems kind of weird to me. Obama nominated one in 2010.
Well, sorry.
No, go ahead. You got thoughts?
They're Mitch McConnell. I think that's the big thing they're talking about because he was talking about how it needs to get decided now before the midterm election. Mm-hmm. But back when he blocked Obama, his reasoning was because it shouldn't happen during an election.
Presidential election year. That was actually. And this is where all the confusion is because that's what people keep saying, but that's not what happened. Joe Biden said that back in the 90s. McConnell quoted Joe Biden, but this has always happened that presidents don't do nominations on presidential election years. But it happens all the time. I think two of our justices right now were midterm election years before the midterm election. So the argument doesn't make any sense.
No, and I think that's the thing. I think that's the confusion. And they misinterpreted what he said, so yeah. I think that's really what it boils down to. It's really interesting to hear both sides of this whole situation, because conservatives, it's great. This is awesome. They're so excited about it.
Well, it's monumental.
And then liberals, but liberals are acting like it's the end of the world, and that's just, you ever need an example of partisanship? Right there.
Yeah. Well. And the thing is, this is another step towards a monumental shift in the Supreme Court, considering with this appointee, which is obviously going to be conservative, and the fact that Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who is nominated by Bill Clinton, is a more liberal justice and is 85 years old, so there's a really good chance, her time is coming up, and so there's a good chance Trump could be nominating 3 justices in his presidency, which could completely change the direction of our laws in the future to more strictly following the Constitution rather than this idea of a living, breathing Constitution that changes as our culture changes. So it is, I think, and Trump said it over the weekend, and I think he's right about this, besides maintaining war and peace, nominating justices is the biggest thing presidents do because it lasts, they can last for decades and have such a huge impact on our society.
I mean, Gorsuch is only in his 50s.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's going to be there for another 30 years.
Well, yeah.
At least.
And most of the people on Trump's list that he came out with when he was still a candidate, the 20 people that went to 25, most of them are pretty young. And there's a couple in their 40s, a lot in their 50s, because he wants to, make an impact for long term. So we'll definitely keep up with that. He says he's going to have the announcement by Monday. So that they can do the nomination, or the Senate can confirm after their summer recess, so that we can have a justice for the next Supreme Court season. I think it starts in August.
Yeah, my whole thought about this is I think the big concern is overturning Roe versus Wade. Wade.
Yeah.
Not Way. Roe versus Wade. And I definitely could see that happening. I think this is a big step for getting that repealed and maybe making it more states' rights, which I'm always someone that believes in states' rights, and we should go more that way. I'm sure we're going to elaborate more on Roe versus Wade at some point. I'd love to do like a deep dive episode. Let us know if you want to see that. That might be too political and nerdy for you guys. If you don't want to see that, that's fine. I'll just write a blog post on our website, loudandopinionated.com.
Yeah, but I think I'm worried that a little bit too much attention is going towards that specifically because a justice shouldn't be nominated or confirmed based off of one specific case, and Trump has come out and said clearly that he's not going to do that, and he already has a list that's based off of people who follow strict constitutionalism, and so I think it's dangerous to talk about selecting somebody for such an important job based off of one case. But I do agree that there is a good chance that Roe v. Wade could be changed or overturned at some point, no matter who he ends up choosing. But yeah, I think we could talk about that sometime. But for now, let's move on to sports. LeBron James has signed a 4-year, $153.3 million deal for the Los Angeles Lakers. I wrote an article about this as a lifelong Cleveland fan. This is very important to me. My article is titled, "Why I'm Okay with LeBron Leaving This Time," because the first time he ripped my heart out and stomped on it. But, like I said last week when we were talking about this, I'm at more of a stage of acceptance, and I understand his reasoning, and I think he's doing it more the right way this time. And he's going to be joined by Lance Stevenson and JaVale McGee, as well as a young Lakers team that includes Lonzo Ball and Ingram, Julius Randle if he decides to re-sign, and coached by Luke Walton, who I think has got a hell of a future in the NBA.
Which is really funny because they pointed out that they were both drafted the same year. LeBron was 32 picks ahead of Luke Walton. Yeah, because he was the first pick. So it's really funny that they both went in the league together, and now one of them's coaching the other one.
That is funny. Actually, I hadn't heard that.
So you kind of gave your full opinions on it on loudandopinionated.com. I'm not surprised at this at all. I was firmly with Colin Cowherd when he was saying LeBronzo.
He was saying that all year.
I think this is where LeBron ends his career. I think LeBron's going to end his career with the Lakers. And honestly, who wouldn't want to pick LA over Cleveland in terms of a place to live and in terms of how the Lakers...
Whoa now.
Well, and it's Hollywood, and there's so much...
If you're rich, it's a great place to live.
Yeah, exactly. And there's so much exposure for him
which he is.
To set up his career afterwards is what I'm getting at. I think when he's entering the twilight of his career, he's essentially going to be... I still think he's going to be competitive, but he's definitely going to be a player coach.
Yeah, I mean, he did just have the best year of his career.
And these are...
But yeah, I think you're right. I mean, 4 years. I was a little bit surprised that he signed a 4-year deal, considering he didn't do that in Miami or Cleveland the last 8 years. He's been doing the 1 year with the player option. So that surprised me a little bit. But yeah, I think this will probably be where he ends up. And it does make sense because he's already got... what's the entertainment company he's running?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why the name is escaping me right now, but he's already in the entertainment world.
He's been in movies.
So obviously, that's obviously where his career is going after basketball. In 4 or so years, I could see him playing another 6 if he can stay healthy, but we'll see. I hope he can take down the Warriors.
Could you imagine him? The poor.
Just imagine
the poor
this.
East.
Western Conference Finals.
The East.
Western Conference Finals. Golden State versus Los Angeles. LeBron beats the Warriors in 7 games and then faces Kyrie in Boston. Because then you have LA Boston being resurrected, and you have LeBron going against Kyrie. I mean, that's
the kind of stuff that 30 for 30s are
that's
made
what
of.
you want to
That's
happen.
a 30 for 30.
Yeah.
And you could call it.
Well, LeBron's 30 for 30 is going to be 8 hours
Yeah, I
long.
know, right? Well,
I already got the title, The King and His Men.
well, if you do you could do a separate one. You could do a 30 for 30 on the end of his career in LA and call it LeBron, but LA, BRON.
No, it's going to be like a 4-part series.
Oh
I
yeah.
bet.
Oh,
It'll
it's
have
gonna be a
like
mini-series.
the coming up, like the rise of the king, and then like the decision and Miami, and then it'll be him coming back to Cleveland and his battles with the Warriors, and then it'll be whatever is about to happen.
Yeah, it would be like the OJ thing where they did like 6 episodes.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
I'd be into that.
I'm excited for him to be playing with Lance Stevenson because he's wanted to play with him before, and I think that their like relationship on the court is hilarious.
The best part of that was I've never actually watched him blow in his ear in slow-mo. And the
so
look
funny.
on LeBron's face, like, what the hell are you doing? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I don't know if it's more that LeBron likes Lance as a player or that he just doesn't want to have to play against him anymore.
Yeah, I think it's probably a little bit of both. But yeah, I think we're getting ready to see the end of LeBron, and I would not be surprised if he. I don't know. LA was still pretty bad, so it'll be interesting. But now they got Lance Stevenson and LeBron, so anything can happen.
They really I'm a Lakers fan too. They're kind of my second team behind the Cavs, just because I grew up watching Kobe and Shaq. I was born in the area. My uncle and grandpa are huge Lakers fans, so I've always been somewhat of a fan, and I watched their games throughout the year. And they really weren't bad this year. They just didn't have they were too young to finish games. But they were competitive against the Rockets, against the Warriors, against the against good teams. They played really well. They just couldn't finish these games. And I think adding JaVale McGee and LeBron, who know to win championships, and Lance Stevenson is a veteran player, and I don't think they're done making moves either. I think that they're going to be very, very good this year. And also the fact that LeBron signs his 4-year contract means that he's willing to put a little bit more time in it with Magic. I mean, there's a lot of free agents next season, and I'd be down to do a NBA offseason, podcast and talk about this stuff. I think the next 4 years are gonna be really interesting in LA.
I do too. I think this is gonna definitely change the landscape, especially in the East, not just the West, but definitely in the East, because now it's almost like you might as well. It's
wide open.
I honestly think you could just give the championship to Boston. There's no LeBron to stop them now.
What about Philadelphia?
I don't know. Maybe. Philly surprised me last year. I thought they were going to go and play against the Cavs in the championship.
Miami was surprisingly good towards the end of last year. Obviously, there's a lot of shifting going on there.
It's 2 teams right now.
I think it's more open than you're giving it credit for. I mean, Toronto still, even though they have their drama with their coach,
there's
still
no
a great
LeBron,
team.
so they have a chance.
Yeah.
All
right, so we can get back more into this as more things develop, but let's move on to entertainment. The DC Universe. This is something that you wrote about this week on loudandopinionated.com. So I'll let you talk about this. This is more your
for those of
arena than mine.
those who didn't read the article,
Those are those.
Shut up! You just said twite or something. You said something weird, so don't even give me guff. You did.
I didn't say anything weird.
You're literally recording it. I have proof. For those that didn't read the article that I posted on loudandopinionated.com, DC Universe, we knew about it last April 2017. There was rumors that DC was going to start their own streaming service and launch with original content, and now we know that it is real, and we also know that it's not just original content like Netflix-style shows. There's also the back catalog for the animated movies, animated series. There's also a bunch of older movies. I did look more into this. They do have 70s Wonder Woman and 1966 Batman. So I'm probably going to binge watch those because they're just fantastic. And they're also adding comics into this, which I thought was a really interesting approach. But it's not their full catalog, which I think they should have just released their full catalog if they were going to do this anyway. But they're going to have like a rotating set of titles that are like the big universe-changing stuff in DC, like the really big, memorable titles, and they're always going to be rotating. So I think...
Are they going to have new comics involved
they
in
haven't
that too, or is
specified
that like
that
all...
yet. I don't know for sure, but
okay.
I know pretty much all the main stuff that if you ever needed to know anything about DC, they probably have like the landmark titles. They also are having an online encyclopedia for it, so you could also look things up and figure things that way. Paedia.
It's encyclopedia.
Wow. You would be a guy that would say that
fans.
Too. But now I just said but
I do like
now
being
I'm gonna
right
think about it too. But and there's also going to be exclusive merch. I'm actually really into this. Some people are kind of like iffy about it. I expected them to, because last week was supposed to be like their big launch of what it would be and explaining everything. I could have, got a trailer out of that. I don't know why they didn't put a trailer for Titans up or something for maybe one of their animated shows. I don't know why they didn't do that. Maybe they just weren't ready. Maybe they're waiting for Comic-Con. I don't know. But it's pretty exciting for me. I love DC, and I've always wanted to go back and watch cartoons or things like that. It's all in one place. I think it's an interesting approach to make it more than just a streaming service and make it more of a place for fans to hang out. There's going to be like forums, and there's going to be community aspects to it. It's trying to give you like a full fan experience, and I think that's really interesting and really cool, and I think it's a different way to do a streaming service, because they could easily just sell these properties to Hulu or Netflix or something and be done with it. But the fact they're putting in effort to add merch and comics and go back in their library, I really like that. I'm excited. I signed up for the beta, so maybe I can get an early review up on the site and let you guys know what happens, but we'll see. It's coming in August, so maybe I get the beta, maybe I don't. We'll see.
All right, well, we'll check back with you on that in August, you nerd. All right, international news. A Thai youth soccer team found in a cave after being missing for 10 days. This is a team of 11 to 16-year-old kids. 12 kids and their coach went on a bike ride into the mountains and then went exploring in caves when a monsoon suddenly hit. In some areas around them, water rose to 40 meters. And so they were in there for 10 days without any food and probably a questionable water source. The Thai Navy SEALs, with the help of U.S., British, and Australian military, were able to locate them, and all of them still alive. Pretty incredible story.
Yeah.
Also kind of scary to think about, the mental toll this is probably going to take on them. But awesome that they were able to persevere and hold on for 10 days. I can't imagine how terrifying that would be. In the dark in a cave for that long. So pretty crazy story though. That's just something about the human spirit, man. We'll find a way to live. We will survive. And I'm happy that there's, because I was gonna be like, you're really gonna tell me this really sad story about some of these kids dying or something, but it had an happy ending. So all alive. Yeah, well, as we record right now on July 2nd. They're still working on getting the kids out. Some of them needed some medical attention before they were able to get them out, because they actually had to dive in with equipment, and they're going to have to, I think, dive out with the kids. So it's still all in progress as we record right now, but it's all looking good. Just pretty crazy that they were able to find them.
Yeah.
And then
I'll go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm just going to move on to our random news topic of the day. We have our first fan blog post from John Sparks. We're pretty excited about it, so we thought we'd give you a shout out, let you know that it should be up on the website by the time you're listening to this podcast. The title is going to be Why Ant-Man is Secretly the Best Marvel Movie.
He wrote that to spite me. I know he did.
So he's got some compelling arguments in here. Got it right here. I'm going to just make sure, there's no spelling, grammar errors, and I'll get that up on the site as soon as I can. So shout out to John. We're really excited, and if you ever have any ideas, you can literally write about anything you want.
Well, Unless you're, like a Nazi or something. Then we have the right to reject that.
Hey, we're not here to silence any views as long as you're not inciting violence or, speaking specifically about doing crimes. So I'm not here to silence anybody. I will, edit your content for spelling and grammar errors. But hey, if you have anything that you want, any opinions that you want to be loud about, go ahead and send an email to me, Derek@loudandopinionated.com. Just include a Word doc or something with the email, any images you want in it. And then if you want Facebook, Twitter, or anything connected to you, put that in there as well, and we'll make sure to give you credit.
I think it's funny because I know Sparks, and we went to school together, and we had very long arguments about the MCU and how they should be ranked in terms of best to worst. I'm excited to read his arguments. I mostly heard them, but I feel like he did do that just to spite me. But I thank you for doing it. That's awesome. We love to, like Derek said, we love to hear more from you guys.
All right, now let's talk about partying, huh?
Main topic of the show. Now, what we're trying to do is tell you the right way. I take that back. We're not telling you how to party, but we're telling you you're probably going to have the best time if you listen to us. That's all I'm saying. I'll just put that out there right now. Derek, we got to give these people something. We got to give them the do's and don'ts to every barbecue, pool party, whatever you're doing, whatever you're getting into this 4th of July. Here's some do's and don'ts. Derek, would you like to start? You read one, I read one. We can go back and forth like that.
Sure. I guess I'll do the do's. So to start off, and most of these are all going to apply to most summer parties. Some of them are a little bit more specific to the 4th of July, but anyways, bring your own beer. That's what rule number 1. I mean that applies to just about all parties. As long as you're of age, of course. We don't support underage drinking.
I was gonna make a joke.
So bring your own beer. You don't have to bring 24-pack. Just bring a 6-pack of something. If you really don't like beer, then bring a small bottle of something. And if you don't drink, maybe offer if you can bring food or anything. Or if you're gonna DD, then you don't have to bring anything because you are a saint.
Also, I'd like to point out that if you bring your own alcohol, say you bring some liquor, like a big bottle of liquor. Share with everybody. Everybody should share. We're all gonna have a good time. So make sure to share. Sharing is caring. All right. So here's a don't. If you are attending a party, don't show up hammered. Don't be that guy. We don't like that guy. Get drunk at the party. That's the point.
Unless it's the after party.
Oh, yeah.
In which
go
case,
nuts.
Everyone's already gonna be drunk. Because as soon as somebody shows up super drunk, everyone just knows, oh, this is the guy that we're taking care of tonight. Nobody likes that. Part of the adventure of a party is getting drunk together.
And this is coming from two guys that have had this happen before. I've been drinking throughout the day and showed up to a party totally drunk, and people have been, taking drinks away from me, giving me the eagle eyes. I've been there, man. It's not fun. Coming from experience.
Ohio State, circa 2016.
Or Super Bowl 50 when Derek came over to my house. You were just trashed, man.
All right, well, my parents listen to this.
I'm kidding. Well, hey, you were... Hey, no.
I was.
No, he was. But he didn't drive, and he was of age, okay? So it's totally
That is
fine.
true. All right, wear appropriate attire. Specifically to the 4th of July, wear red, white, and blue. Some combination of those colors. Don't be that guy that just isn't going to celebrate Independence Day. If you're going to be lame, don't show up. And this also goes to if you're going to a pool party, wear a bathing suit. If you're going, to, I don't know, if it's going to be cold out, wear jeans. Don't show up in super short shorts, girls, and look ridiculous because you're cold. So be appropriate.
Be appropriate.
That kind of goes along with our don't. I almost stole that from me. I had to stop myself.
Yeah, I was like, what are you doing? Yeah. Don't wear swimming trunks if the host has a hot tub or pool that seems presumptuous. Now, what we're saying is...
Unless it's a pool party.
Right. If you know beforehand it's a pool party, you're dressed appropriately. You're doing what you need to do. But, yeah, if Nobody said, hey, this is a pool party. You don't show up in your swim trunks. It's just weird. Derek always told me to have it in your car. So if the night leads to a hot tub / pool party, you're prepared. Just don't wear it right away and be a douche. That's what we're trying to tell you.
Well, and I feel like a lot of times when the night ends in a hot tub, that's the end of the party when most of the people have left. So if you come, with a towel and swim trunks, people are going to get the idea like, oh, are we getting in the hot tub tonight? And then they're going to linger around way too long. You wait until you're a part of that select group at the end of the night that gets invited into the hot tub.
Exactly. Then you're the cool guy.
So anyways, and this next do applies to a lot of circumstances. I don't understand why a lot of people don't do this anyways. Wear sunscreen, dumbass.
Skin cancer.
I mean, yeah, even if you're the kind of person that gets, perfectly tan and never burns, which, first of all, screw you. Second of all, you'll still get skin cancer if you're not wearing sunscreen and you're outside in the sun all day.
I would agree with that. And finally, our last don't, and I had to add this because I have a fun story about this. Don't bring up politics. I know that you want to because you're so full of pride for your country and you want to talk about it. Don't do it. Especially if you've had a lot of drinks, a lot of beers, and the person you're arguing with is stone cold sober. Because it's gonna just devolve into a very loud shouting match, and it's not good. This happened to me last summer. I was at my mom's. It was a barbecue / pool party. Very hot, so this is how bad it was. I was throwing back, I think it was Bud Lights, shirtless, and with this weird wicker cowboy hat that had the American flag wrapped around it, like as a stripe. I was very American. I got out of hand very quickly. And the worst part was we were about to take family photos too, so it's even worse. I remember going up to him. We started. My Uncle Mike. I don't know if you listen to this show, but you'll probably get a kick out of this. He was just sitting at the picnic table, and it was like Terminator. I was scanning, trying to find him, and I found him. And I was like, "It's gonna be today. We're doing it." Because at least one family get together. Him and I just have a drag out debate about anything, really. It's just we love to argue with each other. Derek, you can understand this.
I don't know anything about arguing.
Are taking enjoyment out of it. But yeah, I went over, I sat down, we really got into it about healthcare, and then that turned into another thing, that's led to another thing, and it was shouting, it was screaming. At one point I said, he's not Ronald Reagan, bro, talking about Donald Trump. And then there was another thing where I think what really set him off and really took things to the next level, because keep in mind, I'm drunk. I was like, you don't care about voting with your conscience, man. You only care about your party, man. And that made things so much worse.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. It probably made some sense to someone.
I know.
But yeah, prime example, don't do that, because you're going to yell. I mean, eventually the whole entire family was in a circle around us, wondering. It was like watching us at the zoo. It sounds funny, but don't do it, man. It's not fun for anybody.
Yeah, there's a time and place, and we always say that healthy political discussion is a really good thing, but partying is one of those things. It's escapism. You go there to have fun with people and not bring up things that divide you.
I'd be the first to tell you.
I
took it too far, So
we got a couple extra tips just for if you're hosting a party. The first always have some drinks on hand for those who forget the number one rule of bring your own beer, because it's bound to happen, or people are going to run out of drinks. So just pick up a case of cheap beer, maybe a bottle of Fireball, something like that.
Yeah, Fireball. And hey, there's no such thing as too much booze at a party, unless alcohol poisoning. Not a good idea to say that. You know what? I'll cut that out. Don't make everyone take their shoes off at the door. We're gonna have a little bit of debate here. I'm personally someone who says take your shoes off at the door. You know, don't want you to dragging anything in.
See, I think if you're worried about that, if you're having a big party, it's different if you're just having a couple people over. If you're having a big party and you're that worried about that, then you should just have them come around to the back and have, you know, a backyard party. Because it's just, that's going to be so, if you got 30 plus people, you know, or 100 people, I've been to parties that are huge, and you have everybody's feet off. First of all, it's going to stink. Second of all, there's always going to be the one or two people that forget and then step on everybody else's toes. And third, it's just gross. I think I totally understand when you have a smaller groups over. But when you're throwing a big party, that's why I say it's too much. If you're gonna be that way, don't throw a party or have it outside.
I agree with that. If you're gonna have a 4th of July party in general, it should be outside. That's the whole reason we get together on the 4th of July. Okay, it's to go outside, celebrate this country, have a few drinks, and have a great time. That's what it's all about.
All right, one thing that, and this is a good do for any party, if you know it's going to get really rowdy, people are going to get really drunk, collect keys at the beginning of the night. I know a lot of times people don't really worry about this, but DUIs or worse things are definitely something that everyone should be wary of. So as the host of the party, you are the first gatekeeper of making sure that people aren't driving home drunk that night. So if you know that you're going to be up late, it's going to get rowdy, just, you know, have a bowl at the beginning, collect the keys, and then as people are leaving, you know, if you know they're too drunk, make them call an Uber or a Lyft. I found that Lyft is actually cheaper, and they do deals all the time. So
I'd also like to add to this, as well as collecting keys, also have pillows and blankets, have things ready in case people need to stay, because alcohol is going to be involved, and it's much better to have someone sleep on your couch than something bad to happen. So I would add to that, have pillows and blankets if people need to stay. And now another don't. Thanks.
Great tip, Jake.
And another don't to add to this list. Don't let the pyromaniac of the family, you know who they are. They watch too many action movies. They like fire way too much.
A lot of times they're actually firefighters, ironically.
Exactly. Well, maybe. I don't know any firefighters in my family or anything like that. So
No, it's true. Firefighters are the biggest pyromaniacs.
That would explain why they run into fires to save people. Good on you. I wouldn't do it. Don't let these people operate any sort of fireworks, because chances are they're gonna try to make some weird, stupid, awesome rocket with strapping like 6 different fireworks to it and lighting it off and seeing what happens. Don't let them do that. Give it to a responsible adult. And also, don't throw firecrackers at people. Don't be weird. I hate when people do that. Because I've been that person. No, I haven't. I'm kidding. I'm not a jerk.
I've thrown a firecracker at myself.
I had one blow
accident.
up in my hand.
Yeah, I threw it up in the air and it landed on me. I have a scar. It was a long time ago. I have a scar somewhere. It landed on me.
Yeah, it was really funny because
I don't remember how it was. Probably one of the ones that's like that.
I had one similar to that, and it was like the first time I'd ever I was at that age where I'd finally moved up to firecrackers and not like the popping things that you'd throw on the ground. And I lit it. Somebody said something to me. I looked away, but I didn't think to hear that hissing sound. You should probably. I look over, and it just boom right in my hand, and I'm like, just tears running down my face. My thumb was swollen.
Oh jeez. Parents like, all right, 2 more years.
You know what?
Yeah,
let me take these from you.
See, it's funny for me. I didn't really get to experience setting off fireworks until I was older, because in Nevada, fireworks are illegal for everybody all the time because it's a desert. In a lot of states, you can't just go. Like Nebraska, it's kind of crazy. For those of you listening that haven't been in a place like this, 4th of July, anyone can buy fireworks and just set them off in the street. So you look out over neighborhoods, and I mean, it's like a war zone.
Yeah.
It's just going up constantly all over the place. And that was a completely new experience for me the first time I was here for the 4th of July.
It literally sounds like a war outside.
It's crazy. The dogs, you got to give them like melatonin or Benadryl so that they can relax.
Oh, yeah.
Because they'll freak out. I always wonder, and I mean, this is more of a serious thing. I wonder, like, people with really bad PTSD that live in an area like this, like, what do they do? Because, I mean, that's got to be horrifying. It scares me. And, I have no experiences like that. But, yeah, because it gets loud and just
I
constant.
know that Iowa just made fireworks legal again. And they have, like, special rules. Like, you can't set them off at certain times in cities. And...
yeah, you're supposed to... I think in Nebraska, it's after 11. You're not supposed to set them off. People still do,
how do you really enforce that? You'd be locking up so many people. So be careful with fireworks. I think that goes without saying, but be careful with fireworks.
I think that goes well into our created these some stereotypes about people that you're going to see at a 4th of July party. I guess we can start
Derek,
with the person.
You left out one dude that you didn't agree with, but I'm leaving it in. And you said dress appropriately goes in there. I don't care. I want to make it. I just want to get it in people's heads. Wear a kick-ass patriotic shirt. All right, I'm done.
Like this one. Let's get Star Spangled Hammered.
Shirt on. I do have a funny shirt. That it's Uncle Sam cradling an eagle and says, "Tell me stories about freedom." It's pretty great.
And why didn't you wear it? It's the 4th of July.
Laundry day.
You're breaking your own rule.
Anyway, yes, stereotypes of the party. These are the people that are going to be there. And like I said at the beginning of the show, these are people that you want to keep an eye on. I'm not saying profile people, but I'm saying profile people.
Well, some of them you need, though. I mean, they're not all bad stereotypes here.
There's fun stereotypes here. But there's also some really bad ones. I'll give you the first one. The grill guy. He is the guy that's... When you think of a party, you're like, this guy's on the grill. That's where he's staying. He's parked here. He's cooking. And you know what? We need grill guys. They're important. They're the backbone of the party.
Absolutely.
They're...
That grill guy, we don't get fed.
And people do some really, really crazy stuff when they're hungry. I've seen it.
Well, but the best is the secondary grill guy. Is kind of his sidekick that he didn't actually want, who just stands over his shoulder and comments on the meal like, "Oh, it's a good looking steak. Oh, you sure about it? Hey, I think that one might need to be turned."
Again, before we started recording, I mentioned that I think I'm like somewhat all of these stereotypes. I'm that guy too. Especially with Luke. Whenever I'm hanging out with my buddy Luke, and he's grilling, I'm always standing right next to him with a beer in my hand, and I'm like, "Oh, you're gonna marinate that one? You're gonna? Oh yeah. See, here's what I would have done. Like, I always gotta give him my idea."
Well, you gotta put the cheese in the patty.
Dude, you
right?
just gotta get a little bit more pink in there. Just say random things that.
Which hey, that is a good tip though for grill guy. Put the cheese in the burger patty before you mix the meat up, along with an egg, some breadcrumbs, some chopped onions. No, you don't stuff it. You put the ground meat in a bowl. You crack an egg, like a half a cup or so of breadcrumbs, cheese. I like to do bacon bits, and then you just smash it all together. You make your patties.
I might do that tonight now. Well, not tonight, but.
Yeah, I like being grill guy. Okay. I see that as my future.
I'll probably be secondary grill guy, or well, you know what? Again, I'm a form of every form of these characters. The next one, way too drunk relative. This was me last year.
This is the person who didn't follow our first don't of our list. Don't show up.
Hey, I was hosting the party, so I was allowed to be hammered.
See, I almost think that's worse. When you're the host, you should be some level of sober for when everyone gets there.
I was. I didn't start heavier drinking until everybody showed up. Oh, man.
Okay. You get a pass.
But yeah, this is the guy that you definitely need to take the keys and put in the bowl.
Who's probably going to bring up politics.
Yeah, he will. And I remember we were playing volleyball at this party last year, and I was the way too drunk relative. Got in a lot of disputes on if it was in or out. and a lot of angry things. I definitely went over to the other side and we got into each other's face, but it was all fun because afterwards we just laughed. But I did play the game one-handed. I had a beer in one hand that I said, I will not put this down until it's finished, and then I did, and then I grabbed another one. So I was a hot mess last year. That's what I was.
Is there any other way to play volleyball?
I was just way too in love with my country last year. Let's just put it that way.
Hey, there's no such thing. America. Well, and let's hope way too drunk relative isn't also a person that's way too excited about the fireworks.
Again, we mentioned this is
because that's what leads to disaster.
Does not deserve to. He can be excited. He or she can be excited, but they cannot operate any firework machinery. Okay, they're not.
Or they at least can't be in control of it. They need to be monitored and limited. Especially if they're also way too drunk relative.
What if they're the grill guy too, man? That's just a wild party.
This is
just
a
really
party of
sad
one.
guy drinking by himself. Yeah,
but hey, he's really excited about the fireworks.
I don't think I've ever been that guy, and you never really grew up with it, so you were never really that guy. But I think my brother was more into fireworks than I was. I was like, yeah, they're kind of cool, but you've seen one firework, you pretty much seen them all. You know?
Yeah, I got really excited about fireworks, the first couple times I was around for the 4th of July.
They're still fun.
I still love watching them. But, there's always the people that spend like $5,000 to $10,000 on fireworks. And, I mean, I appreciate that they do it because I get to enjoy the show.
Yeah, it's a little bit much.
I mean, come on, guys.
So you
a little
have
much. And like and some people just spend the entire party down, on the beach or out in the street, setting off the fireworks. Then you're not socializing with your party.
Have you
co-partiers?
No, you didn't have it growing up, but you've been to parties since that have had fireworks, right? Do you have any? And you have any firework horror stories?
None of the ones that I've been to have ended badly.
I don't remember. It might have been last year. I think it was a couple. It was a couple years ago. We were getting together, and one of the artillery shells tipped over and shot like close by everybody. We got to do something about these artillery shells, man. They're not staying in one spot.
I have seen them fall over and shoot down the street, but luckily it would just ended up going right down the street where
it went right by us. It didn't anything like that, but it's happened where it's gone by us, or it was awful. It was like being shot, like this rocket being shot at you, and you're like, oh, what do I do? But it wasn't anything serious, thankfully. There wasn't a fire or anything. It was just crazy. So that's my one horror story of an artillery shell. I got a firecracker and an artillery shell. I don't think I have any other fireworks stories that I have that were really crazy. I've seen a frog eat a firecracker and explode. That was insane. But I didn't do it.
Ew, that's horrible.
I knew about it.
It's still really sad.
But I didn't do it. Derek, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Disappointed.
Well, I had to stop him before the chemicals turned him gay, according to Alex Jones. So, Derek, this kind of person's always at a party. They're close. They're pretty much the same as a woo girl, right? They're related to the woo girl. This type of stereotype.
Closely related to the woo girl.
Always wants to do shots. Always wants to get really drunk. And, they're fun. I'll admit they're fun people to be around. But I'm only 24 and I'm already at an age where I don't do shots anymore, man. No, thank you. I hate them. I don't like them. You're the shot guy.
You do when you're with me.
You're the shot guy. You want to be a girl guy,
I definitely can
but
be
you're
shot guy sometimes. Hey, if I'm at the grill, I'm grill guy. It's after the grill's done with that I become shot guy. Sometimes, not always. But I mean, if there's a bottle of Rumplemintz, it's over.
Look, like I said, they're fun. They add to the party. But how many shots is too much is what I'm asking. Because sometimes you just keep feeding me shots, and I'm like, Derek, I'm going to tap out. This is going to end badly. And you're like, no, you're fine. You can do one more. We got to have a number. We got to do...
I just think it depends on how long we're there, how much we've had to eat, how many other drinks we've had, what the shot is.
I don't know.
I'd say if you're doing more than like 5 or 6 in a night, though, you're definitely going
If
too
you see shot guy or girl, they're usually parked up at... They're always parked up at a table
Keep an eye on
somewhere.
them.
You know, if you have a little bar area, they're right there, and there is always at least 2 glasses. Don't be the person that gets stuck with the... Because if you get stuck in a certain... Sometimes you can't get away from shot guy girl. You're parked there all night.
For me, when I've been really bad was when I think I did it. There was one year at a 4th of July party, and I believe one year at a New Year's Eve party that we had at our old house when I made over 100 plus Jello shots. And I put so much work into these Jello shots, and they were delicious. So that for every person that walked in, I had to do a Jello shot with them. And you go, hey, come check out the Jello shots. Which color do you want? And they're like, oh, I guess I got to do one with you too. And then like, oh, I'm not that drunk. But then like an hour later, I'm like, oh, hey, check out the Jello shots.
That was a fun.
They're
night.
delicious.
That was fun. That's the thing too. Now, shot guy or girl, if they make shots, if they make like you said, like a Jello shot or something like that, I'm not as judgy of them because they, like you said, you put a lot of work into that. You wanna share that with everybody. And I'm okay with it.
Now, that makes me think one stereotype we didn't put on here yet. The pseudo bartender. And this can be good or bad, depending if they know what they're doing or not. But there's usually somebody who's really excited about making some sort of special mixed concoction that nobody's ever had before. Sometimes they turn out great. Sometimes not so much. But then you're in this awkward position where... They got all excited about making you this drink. You're like, yeah, this
and you
is
don't
really
want to be wasteful
yummy.
because we're all at it's alcohol. You don't want to waste that. It's not cheap. Well, some of it is, but but you don't want to waste the alcohol.
But especially if somebody puts their time into making you a special
it's the
drink
worst,
that
though.
they're excited about,
Yeah, they guilt you into
guilt
drinking
you
it,
into
and
drinking
they
it.
just like helicopter over you to see if you're still drinking it. No, I mean, like,
What do you think of it?
No, but I mean, like, what do you taste? Like, they just keep trying to get answers at it. I'll be honest, my friends, I would say Derek would probably be the bartender if I had to say anybody. Because my other, like, Adam, Luke, any of those guys, they're going to pour way too much booze in my drink. And it's nice, but it's not a good idea. It's not a good idea. Hold on.
And go to bed in 3 hours.
All right, so we we're busy guys. For time, we're gonna jump ahead to. I'm gonna pick one more, and I'm saying I know this person because I live with her. There's the party mom. It's the one, or party dad. We'll include everybody. They're the parents. Usually mom. They're the party parent. They're the person
usually
that
mom.
Is having a good time with people, maybe has 1 or 2 drinks, but for the most part, they're looking out for everybody, and they're making sure everybody's okay, and being smart, and, because they're drunk, they treat them like children, so they're the parent of the party. Ashley is a great party mom, and I'm glad she does the things that she does, because a lot of my friends are idiots, and they need a party mom to rein them in. Well, when you add alcohol to any person, they could kind of be an idiot, so
yeah. Well, you need the mom. They bring you water. They make sure that you're not going to drive home drunk.
Another.
They give you food at the end of the night when you're just like, oh my god, I need. And then they order pizza because you already ate all the grilled food.
Always have that as a backup plan. A pizza delivery. They're also funny story why they're also party. Parents, because just like a parent, you do resent them at one point where you're mad at them because you want to keep drinking, but they know that like if you keep drinking, you're gonna really hate your life tomorrow. So you need to stop and you need to drink some water and have the slice of pizza. You need to relax. Because there's been times that I've gotten mad at Ashley because I'm like, but people are still out having fun. I want to keep you need to stop. You already puked once. You need to stop. So party parents are important. Just remember, if you are that person, you already know this, but just remember, we love you, and we say those mean things sometimes because we're drunk and we're children. We do love you though. Anything else that you'd like to add to make the perfect 4th of July get together?
I think we gave a lot of good tips today. I mean, the most important thing is just show up to have fun.
Yeah.
Everyone just wants to have a good time. Don't get too drunk, but
yes,
have a good time. Be friendly. Don't talk about politics.
No, not in this climate.
Not in 2018.
But have a great time. And what I said earlier, have some fun, have some drinks, celebrate this country, because that's what the 4th is all about. And look, I don't necessarily agree with the things that happens with our country politically, but I still love this place. It's a great country. We wouldn't be able to be doing this podcast for you each and every week if we didn't have America. Okay? God bless USA. And God bless this podcast. This has been another episode of Loud and Opinionated with Jake and Derek. If you want to get more of the podcast, you can go over to loudandopinionated.podbean.com. You can, and it's also on iTunes. And we're working on getting it. I was getting to that.
Well, you can just listen to it on our website.
You can also listen to it on pretty much any other podcast service that you can think of. We're going to work on getting those up on those as well. You can also check out the video form of this up on our YouTube channel. And you can listen to this, obviously, at our beautifully designed website, loudandopinionated.com, designed by Derek Watson himself. You can listen to past episode. You can listen to last week's episode, this episode. You can even write for us. Derek, how do they write for us?
All you got to do is send us an email, derek@loudandopinionated.com. Just include whatever you want to write about. An article, we want to do at least 300 words. And then, put if you want your name posted on there or not, and then any Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever social media accounts are. Yep. If you have your own website, if you want that linked up, then we'll go ahead and get that set for you. And any pictures, make sure you try to put where you got those pictures from so we can credit them properly and not get in trouble for that.
And, thank you so much. See you next week, guys.
God bless America.